Welcome to this GiftWorks video. My name is Jonathan Lehman, and this is the third video in a three-part video series on understanding mailing types. In the first video, as part of this video series, I reviewed the four types of mailings that are available within GiftWorks: donor, donation, pledge, and receipt. And then I also reviewed the corresponding mailing templates and the types of fields that are available for those. And then in the second video, as part of this series, I reviewed donor and donation mailings in more detail, providing specific examples of those. In this particular video, I'm going to be reviewing pledge and receipt mailings in more detail, providing some examples of those, and also show how pledge information can be included on a donation mailing. Now, our expectation is that you would have some knowledge of or experience with the mailing process within GiftWorks prior to watching these videos. So let's get started by signing into GiftWorks. I'm going to choose the mailing option on the toolbar. I'm going to click Send Mail to a List, choose Smart List, and I'm going to choose All Pledges. And when I do that, I'm given a choice of sending mail for these pledges or sending mail to these donors. If I choose send mail for these pledges, I'll start a pledge mailing. If I choose send mail to these donors, I'll be doing a donor mailing for those pledges. And that's evident once it starts. If I go to the recipient list, you'll see that I have a list of donors. I don't have a list of pledges. So it used that pledge smart list, and it used the donors that were represented on the in that pledge smart list to start a donor mailing. So if you can see, if I go to my donor mailing and click on, I'm given my list of donor templates, and if I edit my donor letter template, you'll see I have my fields available that are my donor template fields. So basically it's my general donor information. This is the donor template information that's really available on all types of mailings, and it's my contact information, and my custom fields, and if I have volunteers and event add-ins, I have that information. I also have my donation summary fields, which again is available on all the types of mailings within GiftWorks. And I want to show you that there is some information you might say is sort of some pledge information. It's the overdue amount, and it's the overdue payment count. So it's the information for this donor of any amount that he has overdue from pledges and how many payments he has overdue. But I want to make the point it's not related to any of the specific pledges that were included in this pledge smart list, because this information would be available for any type of mailing. So it's for that donor across all his pledges. So if I go ahead and click OK and click Next and just preview this, you'll see that for that donor we have information about the amount that's due. And I just want to point out that Cresta Corporation has $250 due, and one payment that's overdue, and one payment overdue. These are overdue payments and payment amounts and counts. The point that that I want to make sure is understood is that information is not related to the specific pledges that were part of that pledge smart list. So let's cancel this. Let's start the mailing again to a smart list, and I'll click all pledges and select all pledges again. In this case, I'm going to send mail for these pledges, and click Next. And you'll see when I click Next, you'll immediately see that this is the recipient list is a list of pledges. So I have the same donor on here. I have some donor names, but I have the same donor on here more than once in a couple cases, because there are multiple pledges for that donor. So that immediately tells me this is a pledge mailing. So I can go ahead and click Next. I get my list of pledge templates. I'm going to start with my pledge letter template. And you can see again that when I insert the fields to insert, I have all my donor general information, the contact information. I have the same donor summary fields and custom fields and so forth. But I also have some specific pledge information that's available for me to put on for each specific pledge that was represented in that recipient list. Let me start by putting on the donation summary fields. Remember, this is the overdue amount and the overdue account that I put on the previous donor mailing. See, that's available here, but it's not related to the specific pledge that will be represented with this letter. For the pledge fields, I could put on, for instance, I have lots of information about the pledge I could put on. I could put on the total pledge amount, and I could include the amount that was paid so far and the remaining balance. And one of the things you can do with pledges is you can also include a table that lists all the payments. You can customize that table to see what columns you would want on that table. I'm just going to select them all for now and click OK. If I go ahead and click Next and preview that, you'll see I'm going to get a letter. I'm going to get a letter for each pledge. See here, Carl. And I'm going to actually go through and I'm going to get to Cresta. You'll see here for Cresta Corporation, that there are 2 letters for Cresta because there were 2 pledges. You notice that $250 that was overdue, with the one payment that was overdue, is represented on each letter, because remember, that's not related to the specific pledge. So this pledge does not have anything overdue. Remember, this amount is overall for the donor. This information here, the total amount pledged and the actual amount paid, and the amount due, is for this specific pledge. And here's the table that represents the payments for that pledge. So you see, that's your pledge specific information. If I go back here to one of these that has this particular, for Carl Thorne, he has $10,000 that was the total pledge amount. You can add up these 5 pledge payments, $6,000 due, and $6,000 paid, and $4,000 due. So you can see that you have the pledge specific information, and you also have the overall information that's available, this overdue amount that's available for any type of mailing, and it's not specific to the pledge that was represented on the letter. So let's go ahead and click cancel. I want to go back and show you something I wasn't able to show you when we were doing donation mailings. If I remember this smart list I had, which was the Friends of Family campaign, and it actually has all the donations that were given to the Friends of Family campaign. You'll notice that most of these are gifts. One of these was a payment against a pledge. So I'm going to show you that if I go ahead and do a mailing to that smart list, which is a donation smart list. So I'm going to start a donation mailing. I'm going to actually send mail for these donations. And I'm going to do 1 mailing per donation. And you'll see that I'm going to actually uncheck all these. You'll see I have a list of donations. So I'm doing a donation mailing, and I'm going to include Jack's payment, and I'm going to include Felix, who we were working with earlier, which is a gift. Go ahead and click next. I'm going to go ahead and click, select this is my list of donation templates. So I'm going to select my single gift letter template, and I'm going to go ahead and add some fields to this. I'm going to show you what's available. Again, it's my donor. My donor information is always available. I have my donation summary fields, but also I have my donation specific fields, which is always available. So I can put on the type of donation, and I could put on the amount and the date. But I also have available that if this gift is a payment as part of a pledge, I have pledge fields information available. So I can include, for instance, the total amount of the pledge and the actual amount and the balance. That field will only be populated if this gift is part of a pledge. So a lot of times, if you would do that, you want to have your smart list make sure it's only selecting pledge payments. But I just wanted to show you this by including both a gift and a pledge payment. And I click next, and I preview this. Here's my gift for Jack Letter. You can see that it's a pledge payment. It's $1,000. It's $12.16, and here's the pledge information that it's part of. So it's part of a pledge where that total pledge is $5,000, and $1,000 was paid, and $4,000 is due. So that's overall information about the pledge. If it's a gift that's represented, you can see that I don't get any pledge information. I just want to show you that pledge information is also available on a donation mailing when that gift actually when it's a pledge payment and it's a payment as part of a pledge. The last one I want to show you is I'm going to go to the mailing section, and I'm going to show you a donation receipt mailing, which is very similar to a donation mailing. There's just a few things that are different. So it's initiated here by clicking on donation receipts, and it brings up all the receipts that have been received that are part of your receipt mailing list. And one of the differences is that you don't get the option to send 1 receipt per donor. You cannot consolidate. So if I click next, you see I actually have a list of donations. So it's very similar to a donation mailing. This is from my receipt mailing list. And I have some of these that have multiple donations, like Jack, but I cannot consolidate them onto 1 receipt. And the reason for that is because we assign receipt numbers per donation, and so we don't want that to be consolidated. If we go ahead and click next, you'll see I get my list of gift receipt templates. If I edit that, you'll see that the fields that are available are very similar to my donation mailing. I have my donor information, which is available again on all mailings, my summary information. I have my donation fields. I can actually put pledge information if that gift was part of a pledge, and so forth. Well, one thing I want to show you is if you're looking at your receipt and you include for a donation field, if you include the receipt number, one thing that's unique about the receipt mailing is if I go ahead and click OK and click next, when I preview that, it doesn't have a receipt number yet. As I'm getting one receipt here per donation, per receipt. I don't have a receipt number yet, but if I go ahead and generate that mailing, it's going to actually generate receipt numbers, one for each one of those donations. If I preview it, it shows me the receipt number that's been assigned. And if I go ahead and would continue and finish that mailing, it would actually assign those receipt numbers to each of those donations. So I just want to, there's really not that much different about a receipt mailing than a donation mailing. A lot of the same fields are available and so forth. I hope these videos have been helpful in helping you understand mailing types and the types of mailings that are available within Giftworks, and how templates correspond to those, and what types of fields are available for each type of mailing. We thank you for watching this video series, and we hope in some small way that we have helped your organization accomplish its mission. Thank you for watching.